Hey ENFPs, in today's video we're talking about how you can recover after a tough failure or heartbreak or a difficult situation in life, right? Because as an ENFP, ENFPs are known for being highly enthusiastic, passionate, and quite outgoing and bubbly people, right? But of course, no person can be that all the time. And the myth of the manic pixie dream girl is a myth for a reason, because we all have and encounter hardships sometimes and struggles sometimes. And so the question is, how do you manage these tough emotions, and what do you do in order to feel better and to recover when bad things do happen? And of course, they're going to happen. Every single adult or every single person in the world is going to struggle with some form of difficult mental struggle at some point in their life, if not multiple times, right? And the question is not like how to prevent it from happening, but it's how do you manage it? How do you make sure that you take better care of yourself? And how do you recover during these situations, right? The first thing you might want to pull on as an ENFP is make use of your friends and family members and loved ones, right? Don't be afraid to ask for help. Don't be afraid to talk about your problems with other people. And don't be afraid to discuss problems that you have in life. While other people might usually expect you to be the cheerful and chipper one that is usually quite optimistic, I think many people will be more than happy to repay the favor and to provide a listening ear and to provide support for you sometimes if you need it. And that's something very important and very human to be able to do. And by being able to be vulnerable with other people about the struggles that you face, you show other people that it's okay to be vulnerable if they face struggles eventually at some point in their life, and that you'd be there for them too, right? Another thing that's, I think, very important for ENFPs in these situations is to have some room for slack. So what is slack? Slack is when you created for yourself a security net, some kind of fallback loop, some kind of thing that you can provide for yourself in difficult times, right? And here it's very important to not run your engine and your gas tank at like almost dry, like to make sure that there's always some room, some space for recovery, for loss, for bad decisions, for mistakes, for things like that, right? Because the truth is, ENFPs tend to score, especially the more extroverted ones, quite highly on risk taking, which means that many ENFPs try new things. And of course, a lot of times it really does work out, but sometimes it doesn't, and to have slack means to have space and room to fail, to provide and allow yourself to make some mistakes, to also create a room or a security net in the sense that, okay, if I made a mistake, I have this and this backup, and I can do this and this to make by and to wiggle around it and to handle the situation, right? Now, another thing that I think can be very positive for ENFPs to do in these situations, I think, is to allow yourself time to grieve and to experience and to listen to negative and difficult situations, right? And of course, this is easier said than done. How do you make sure that you give space for yourself to be alone and to be sad and to listen to sad music, or to write about your feelings, or to sit down and listen to your own thoughts? Because a lot of ENFPs might struggle with these things, like how do I take time for myself? How do I give room for myself? And the surprising answer that I've come to myself is the best way to create room for yourself to grieve is to let go of external duties and responsibilities, right? So many ENFPs in times of hardship will run to external duties to distract themselves. So you'll take on more work at work, and you'll take on more responsibilities in your local community and things like that, and all in order to distract yourself from facing these difficulties, right? But in general, the best solution seems to be quite contrary: to let go of some responsibility at work, to allow yourself to drop in performance for a bit, to allow yourself to be a bit later than normal, or to not be able to deliver certain things that you normally can, and so on and so forth, and to let those things happen. Because if you can give yourself that kind of slack, you're also giving yourself space in order to be able to grieve. Because when you have nothing to do and no external responsibilities to cling hold of you, then it's easier to sit down. Because if you feel full of responsibilities and duties and things that you feel like you gotta do, then you're gonna find that, well, it's gonna be hard to sit still, and it's gonna be hard to give yourself that time and that space to mourn, right? The truth is, nobody tells you how you're supposed to grieve, how you're supposed to express and deal with negative emotions and mistakes, and there's no one fit size strategy that's going to work. So a lot of the time, the best solution is to do a little bit of everything. To do a little bit of talking with friends, to do a little bit of grieving, and to do a little bit of distracting yourself. Because it's okay to go out and have fun, and it's okay to go out and try new things. And it's important that even though you've experienced a difficult situation and something bad has happened to you, that you make sure that you have and can retain some level of normalcy in your life. And so make sure that even if things are tough, that you remain and continue to hold to some level of normalcy, in the sense of finding some general rituals and traditions and things that you tend to do on a normal basis, and to make sure that you keep on doing those things, right? So these can be very simple things, like just making sure that you continue to make your bed, every morning if you usually do that, or to continue to eat porridge, or to continue to call your mom every Sunday if you do that, because having these kind of consistent routines will provide and help your body and your mind to convince itself that, well, while I experienced something difficult and while I had a very challenging experience, my life, I still have some normal elements of my life that remind me that, life goes on, things will move on, things will move forward, and things will get better. And if you need help with anything, don't hesitate to reach out on patreon.com/ericdor or to send me a message. And otherwise, I hope that my videos and this YouTube channel can provide some inspiration and energy and some extra motivation to hopefully help you move in a happier and positive direction. Thank you for watching, and see you all in the next video.